crafty friends, Emily with you today, and I am going to show you how to make a trifold card. So first I'm starting out with my A2 card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, and then I'm just going to take my scoreboard and I'm scoring it at 2 1/8 of an inch, and then at the 6 3/8, which is just between the fourth and the half. I know it's a little confusing. And then now I'm just going to fold each side in. So this is just, instead of finding the crease in the middle, you find two creases on the side that are, and this gives you that even look to make this window. So that's my base for my trifold card. I got this awesome brand new bushel and a peck pattern paper from Catherine Pooler from her Feel and Fall collection, and look at all these really beautiful patterns. I just love them. And we got the apple theme going on, a lot of bright colors. I love the pink with the green, so I'm just going to grab a few that I really like. I mean, I love them all, but I'm going to grab these four and kind of use them. I also have these stamps here. So this is the Happily Ever After stamp set. So cute, and has these really cute sayings that go perfect with this paper. And it comes with the die set as well, which is great. So you can make your own apples. So right now I'm just scoring down some of the patterned paper. I'm going to do it at 2 inches because we know that it's at 2 1/8. So I want it to be a little bit less than the lip. I'm trying to just get my patterned paper here for the front of my flaps here, and then I'm going to trim it down to right before the 5.5 because I know that that's how long it is. And I'm also going to, since I have my scoreboard out, I decided I'm just going to score this paper for the inside of my card. And so I'm just doing like 1 inch before what the normal measuring of this would be. So this is like 5.5, so I'm going to do the notch right before it and just score that. And typically I do eyeball these types of things. You don't have to measure it. You could just eyeball it out and trim it to your liking, whatever works for you. So that looks good. It's actually, my cutter is being a little finicky here, so I'm probably going to end up changing my blade. But here is my 2-inch strips. So those look good, but yeah, here we go. I'm just switching out my blade here for my Fiskars because it was giving me kind of a rough edge. So now I can trim really nicely. I love my Fiskars cutter. As long as you have a nice sharp blade, it works perfectly. And yeah, that looks a lot better. You couldn't really tell in the video, but it was giving me kind of, if that ever happens with your cutter, if it gives you like an edge and it feels kind of, I don't know what the word is, it just looks kind of rough and crumbly, almost like it's ripped, then you need to just change your blade and then it's brand new. So here we go. These look really cool. I love these patterns. They're kind of like, remind me of 80s or something. So, or no, 70s, I'm sorry. So now I'm going through, look at this pretty pink. I have It's a Girl pink ink from Catherine Pooler, and I like to go on, and when I'm doing cards like this, when I'm adding my own pattern paper, I love to ink the edges. So I'm just going through inking the edges, making sure I have enough pink everywhere so that when I put that pattern paper down, you're not going to see any of the white. So now I just decided I'm going to ink blend a little bit of the inside here because I just wanted it to be more of a subtle pink on the inside rather than the straight just like ink pad down on the ink, which gives just a little bit of more vibrant of a color. So I'm just using cherry tape here, and I'm inking the edges of my paper also with some wintergreen. I love the wintergreen color. It's super light and pretty. So that looks good. I'm just setting it as, as good as I can to being in the center. I'm not really too much of a stickler with having things be perfect, especially with card making. It's, it makes it impossible to make if you want to make things perfectly. Of course, we want to make things perfectly, but it's okay if, like, it's not centered perfectly or something, something's off or whatever. It just means it's homemade, and I think people like that. So I'm doing the same technique here for the inside of my card, but using Sauna, which is a great, beautiful, like mustard yellow color. And I really like the striped paper, so I decided to switch to that. I was going to use the yellow, but I really like the striped. That looks cool. I love that. And now I'm going to work on the insides. I definitely want to use this apple paper because I want to use my apple stamps here. And so I'm just wanted to show you, I'm lining this up at the 2 inches down at the bottom there and then trimming, and that just makes it a little bit easier rather than having to use your scoreboard every time. So that's nice too about the Fiskars cutter. You can just kind of measure it at the bottom there. So these strips look pretty good. I like that. I love the apples. Gosh, they're so cute. And this paper also matches these stamps from the Apple Ever After stamp set, which is so cute. So look how cute that is. I love that. So look at that. Flip, boop. You can do either side. I decided I'm going to just keep going, and I'm just going to do the paper on the back of the card too, because why not? So I'm doing the same process with inking my corners, my edges. I missed a little bit there at the top, so I'm going to get that with the Sauna color. And now I am using the yellow because I think this looks better on this side. That looks cool. I like that. Nice. So really you could use either side you want. I love that. A lot of flipping. Okay, so now I'm going to work on, I have these Joyful Thanks Sentiments stamp set, and I just love how big and bold this font is, and I knew I wanted to use it as the closure, I guess you can call it, for the front of my trifold card. So I'm going to pick 2 out, and I decided to use some Versamark on my craft paper here that I have, and all Versamark is like a clear ink that allows you to emboss. So I wanted to emboss with a white embossing powder. I saw somebody do this recently and it just turned out so cool and pretty, and I felt like this craft paper went perfectly with the colors of the pattern paper. So now I'm just sprinkling on my white embossing powder, and then I find it best to, when you flick the paper like that, it gets all the excess powder off, and then I'm grabbing my heat tool here and just applying the heat, and you'll see how it transforms. It gets super bright and really glossy. It's so beautiful. Embossing is such a fun touch for card making. Definitely adds another level to that. And since this awesome Joyful Thanks Sentiments also comes with the matching die cuts, I just love that. I don't have to fussy cut it. That looks great. And then here's my Thankful for You. That looks awesome. And so I'm kind of looking at this here, and I like the apple side. So I'm just going to flip it. I'm just going to work with this side. I like it a lot. And so when you use your heat tool, sometimes it bends your paper a little bit. So I cut out another die of the Thankful for You just to back my craft paper on that, just so that it would keep it nice and straight. I actually cut out 2, but I only needed the 1. So that looks awesome. I really like the apples. I'm glad I switched sides. And now, speaking of apples, I'm going to make my own. So here I have the die cuts, and here are the pretty stamps, and makes it really easy for you to just kind of create your own. You can pick whatever color you want. I'm making sure I have enough room at the top to add my stems, and I'm grabbing all these colors. I like the yellow, the pink, and the red. The Samba is perfect for this collection. It's a nice bright red. And I'm just going to ink as much as I'd like to on here. I think I honestly was actually pressing too hard on a couple of my inks, which is why they came out a little more blotchy. But in the end, I honestly feel like they all looked really great, and I was just being a little critical of myself here. So now I'm kind of lining up the dies just to make sure when I'm doing the stems and leaves here that they're gonna all cut in the right spots. So that one, the pink one, looks good. I'm gonna add the stem now. That looks great. And then I'm just continuing on doing that. I really love when we have coordinating dies with stamps. It's like one of my new favorite things. And boom, here they are. Look at that. So much fun. So now I'm kind of deciding, do I want some apples on the front? Do I want them on the inside? I love this one here with the little flower. I decided to add a little pop dot and put that on. How cute is that? So it's a little bit of a 3D embellishment. So I know for sure I want this Thankful for You closure on the front. So the only thing you have to do with the trifold card is just glue just half of it down onto the left or right side, whichever side you choose. I chose the left. And I'm just going to leave that open so it's there to dry. And I'm going to work a little bit on the inside of my card. I decided I wanted to do more apples, and this time I actually found I did a little bit better when I die cut the apples out first, and then I went through and stamped each one. So look at that, red is just so pretty, and here's me just practicing. And I like to put the ink pad down like that if it seems like it's like a lot of ink on there. That's definitely something you can do, and it helps just with making it look a little more clear. And these look great. So you have all these different patterns. It's just so much fun. And then I chose this saying, "You're my appley ever after." I just thought that was super adorable. So I'm looking at my apples for the front. I might put them on there, but now I'm going to just trim out my sentiment because I know I'm going to use that for the inside. And just making that even on each side. It looks great. I just love this saying. It's so cute. It looks adorable. I'm going to ink the edges of this as well with the wintergreen. It looks super pretty. Nice. So now I'm just looking at the closure here, making sure that when it's closed, it's completely covered. So that looks great. I'm going to adhere it down with some cherry tape. Awesome. I didn't want to put any too much of a bump on that one, but I am going to use a cherry dot on my apple here. Cute. And then I'm going to put another apple in there. Let me see which one I like and where I want it. This is the fun part for me when I'm like almost done with the card and I have all my kind of embellishments and stuff that I made, and I'm just kind of figuring out where I'd like things. This is the fun part for me. So yeah, I like that card up, that apple up there. And I like this yellow one in the corner, and I love this polka dot one. So I'm going to also add those on with some cherry dots. And I love the cherry dots because they give a little dimension, but they're not super, super thick. So that's what I appreciate about those. I also have my sequins from Catherine Pooler. These are ones that I actually already had in my stash. The blue, the Bogata. And I'm adding those on. I'm going to add a gold one in the center of the apple there. It looks so cute. And I just wanted to add a little bit of sparkle, as I do with all my cards. So there's my trifold card. It looks so cute. I love all the different patterns. It's nice and sparkly and busy with all the pretty paper, but also just has that really bold saying, which helps with all the pretty colors and patterns. And yeah, and there's the pretty backing of it too. So that's how you make a trifold card. Thanks for watching.